I'm ready.
Okay,
All right, to call the joint review board meeting to order at the Lisbon Town Hall for the TIF District Number 1 on Thursday, August 18th, 2022 at 4:02 PM. Roll call.
okay. We've got Jane from WCTC on Zoom
I am here.
and Matt Gerke, citizen member on Zoom.
Here.
Okay, and we've got Andrew Thelke from Waukesha County on Zoom.
Here.
We've got Chairman Joseph Osterman. We have John Cameron from Ellers.
Here.
We have Shelley Riley for Hamilton School District here. Town Treasurer Natasha Gerard. Town Administrator Kathy Nicholas. And Clerk Elisa Capazzo Catch to record the minutes. We also have someone on Zoom, Stephanie Hall.
Hi, I'm just here listening on behalf of Waukesha County.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, item 2 is appointments. We have to reappoint the public member. I'd make the motion to appoint Matt Gerke as the public member.
I'll move to approve.
Second by
Point.
Andrew. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye,
Aye.
opposed? All right, you're in it for another year, Matt.
All right.
All right, item B is appointment of the chairperson.
I make a motion, we approve Joe Osterman.
Moved by Matt Gerke. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Andrew, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Item 3 is the meeting minutes from the August 23rd, 2021 Joint Review Board. Any questions or comments, or is there a motion on the minutes?
I will move to approve the minutes.
Moved by Andrew to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Matt Gerke. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Item 4 is review of the annual PE-300 report and performance and status of tax incremental district number 1. John.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everybody. John Cameron with Ellers. I'm going to kind of start this off and then turn it over to Kathy to really give an overview as we get into the development projection side of things, to talk about really all the very positive updates within this tax increment district in terms of all of the work that the town has been very busy on over the last year that is really going to start to show up here likely in next year's annual report, as well as really more so in 2024. So in terms of this district was created in late November 2018 as a mixed use district. This district has not been amended to date. It has an expenditure period that ends November 26th of 2033, and its mandatory termination date is November 26th of 2039. It has a base value of $899,100. Its incremental value as of January 1st, 2021 is $1,377,400. And we'll talk about where the 22 numbers are and beyond here in just a few minutes. Its year-end fund balance as of the end of 2021 was a negative $525,065. Its projected closure based on the current cash flow is 2037, which actually coincides with the closure date that was shown in the original project plan back in 2018. In terms of one of the notes here to highlight going into the cash flow analysis from a prospective standpoint is that coming this fall, it's anticipated that the town will execute general obligation notes in the amount of $2,215,000 for remaining road work and utility extension work within the district. This note is reflected in the cash flow analysis, and we'll touch a little bit more on that as we go through the numbers. In terms of the boundary, that is shown on the next page. It's a larger fold-out page if you've got a paper copy here. Really kind of primarily encompasses the former Leeds property along Highway 74 to the north. On the south end, the boundary is Silver Spring Drive. On the very south end of Silver Spring Drive and Town Line Road is Casey's Convenience Store, which was really kind of the first piece of tax increment revenue that was recognized within the district and goes to that 2021 value. Since that time, on the Leeds site, there's been the addition of Wyckoff that really kind of finished up here this past or this current year, I think. But predominantly started in 2021, finished in 2022. So that is the total boundary of the TIF district. Moving into the number side of things in terms of the development piece of it. That the development piece is shown with the development assumptions page at the very top in terms of header. On the left-hand side in the column in green shows the actual amount of development that has occurred to date. So the positive news in terms of the January 1, 2022 values was the addition of 6.7 million of tax incremental value. And that's predominantly Wyckoff in terms of their valuation. So the total amount of tax incremental revenue value as of January 1, 2022 is little over $8.1 million. So I'm going to kind of pause there and turn it over to Kathy to allow her to brag for the next few minutes in terms of really all of the great things that are forthcoming within this district in the next year.
So we have been hard at work on getting the Leeds property, now known as Business Park.
We can barely hear Kathy.
I'm having trouble hearing Kathy.
Okay, I was saying that.
Sounds like no microphone.
Okay.
John came through very clearly.
Yes,
I mean,
as did Joe.
can you hear me now?
Not any
Mhm.
better.
It's very far away.
Don't use this one, Kathy.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
So we've been working on the old Leeds property. It's now called Lisbon Business Park East. And as John had stated, we've seen some development that'll be coming down the road quickly in the next couple of years. We've got the Wyckoff that he spoke about this year. At the end of this year, we will have Pontiac Trucking's. They're in the process of building their building right now, and that will be completed this year. They also have a developer's agreement that states that there's a minimum value, increment value for 20 years on that property. So that's the reason they usually build pretty quickly. We also sold another portion of the property to a very large group that gave us a developer's agreement with an increment of $20 million. That will start as of 1/1/23, and it will go for guaranteed for 20 years for us. That construction is expected to start in spring for those two properties. Going into the commercial area, we are in the process of finishing up with all of our construction, and our Leeds Lane will be started this year, completed next year. And in that commercial area, we have which you've probably heard already, we have Pizza Ranch going in, we have a dance studio, we've got Quick Trip going in, and we have one property that we're still negotiating on that would bring in more restaurants in that corner. So with that said, we have one piece of property left that I've been discussing at another 90 million and 90,000 square foot building. So that's double the size of what Wyckoff is. So, but we're just in the beginning stages of discussion. And that would be in the industrial park. All of our agreements, with the exception of Quick Trip, do have developers agreements that give us 20 years of guaranteed increment to get us to a full build out very quickly. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. I think between the Quick Trip and the Pizza Ranch, the students at Sussex Hamilton will be jumping for joy, I'm sure. So nope, very positive news in terms of the total increment within the between the existing increment that's there and what's forecasted really coming in for construction in 2023, 24, and 25. We've got a total of just over $41.2 million of total new taxable revenue within this district. So very positive news on that front. If you go to the next page of the analysis, it takes that development and actually computes the annual tax increment revenue. So the value that is added is shown in kind of the first set of columns here within the actual construction year. It is valued the following year with tax increment revenue being received the year after that. So there's always a 2-year lag from the time that development occurs to the time that you actually have tax revenue coming into the door. We do assume a 1% appreciation factor within this district. We have total future value increment revenue of $9,442,000 within the TID. If you go to the next page, that shows the estimated financing plan, some of which has been executed, some of which will be executed here shortly. We've got a taxable general obligation note that was issued in 2021 for $3.36 million. Because the town is a little bit limited from a financial standpoint in terms of length of financing, those are issued as general obligation notes, and we'll have to likely refinance that debt at the end of a 10-year term. So that's planned for in 2031 with the remaining principal. If the development was accelerated within this district above and beyond the cash flow analysis as it's shown, it's possible that we may look at some of the cumulative balance to pay down some of the principal at the call date and refinance a lower amount, or possibly pay the note off in cash, but that's currently the plan from a financial standpoint. As I mentioned early on, the town is looking to move forward with the last phase of borrowing within this district this fall. We're actually looking at setting a sale here in September and executing financing in October with funds available at the end of October or first part of November for $2,215,000. That will also have to be refinanced towards the end of the TIF district's life, unless again, the district is in a position from a cumulative standpoint to either pay part of that down with cash or all of it, depending on the nature of how the build out within the TIF goes. So that's those things are in here right now as placeholders for the cash flow purposes. If you go to the next page, the cash flow analysis for the TIF district. Walking from left to right, we have our total tax increment revenue coming into the TID as our first set of columns. We've got bond proceeds coming in both for the initial issuance of projects and for the refinancing of the remaining amount of general obligation refunding bonds. And then, as Kathy had mentioned, the development agreements have provisions in there for shortfall payments, essentially accelerating the timing of when they would start paying relative to the time period where tax increment is going to be available. So in the case of Wyckoff, they had guaranteed tax payments as if they were already in the ground in 2019, where they'd actually have a tax payment in 2021 and again in 2022. So those payments for 21 were made, and 22 payment is forecasted in the analysis for really everything but Quick Trip. They have payments that are called for in 2024. So it essentially act as if those buildings were being built in 2022, valued as of 2023, with revenue coming in the door in 2024. The actuality of their timing in terms of development is if they're building in 2023, their first year of tax increment revenue payments will happen in 2025. So per the provisions of those agreements, the town will be able to collect tax payments as if they were already there. We have the different current and planned debt service payments. The 2022 promissory note, that's based on preliminary interest rate scale with some factor in there for additional market movement between now and the time of the sale, with the planned takeout of both of those notes in 2031 and 2032. The time period where cumulative fund balance would exceed our liabilities is shown to be in 2037, which is a couple of years earlier than its maximum life. And we hoping that this positive trend continues, and we'll see where we are next year at this time. So I'll pause right there and happy to turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman, and answer any questions that any members may have.
Any questions from any members of the board? Andrew, anything?
No, this looks good. A lot of development in the last in this year, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I don't have any additional questions either.
No, me neither.
Anything? Nope. All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, item 5 then is a resolution acknowledging filing of an annual report in compliance with annual meeting requirements. We'd be looking for a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
Motion made by Andrew. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Matt, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, and item 6 is an adjournment. I'll make the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Andrew. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Opposed? We're out at 4:20. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much.